A Course in Miracles, Lesson 19. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. The idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that the order does not matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. Today we are again emphasizing the fact that minds are joined. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea at first, since it seems to carry with it an enormous sense of responsibility, and may even be regarded as an invasion of privacy. Yet it is a fact that there are no private thoughts. Despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all. And salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. The minute or so of mind searching which today's exercises require is to be undertaken with eyes closed. The idea for today is to be repeated first, and then the mind should be carefully searched for the thoughts it contains at that time. As you consider each one, name it in terms of the central person or theme it contains, and holding it in your mind as you do so, say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about blank. The requirement of as much indiscriminateness as possible in selecting subjects for the practice periods should be quite familiar to you by now, and will no longer be repeated each day, although it will occasionally be included as a reminder. Do not forget, however, that random selection of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. Lack of order in this connection will ultimately make the recognition of lack of order in miracles meaningful to you. Apart from the as-needed application of today's idea, at least 3 practice periods are required, shortening the length of time involved if necessary. Do not attempt more than 4. The thought appeared, and so did the world. What came first? I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. A woman stands in front of a mirror. She appears. The image appears. She does not stand there for 5 minutes, waiting for the mirror to decide whether it will reflect her. There is no delay. There is no gap. There is no meeting inside the glass. Cause and effect appear together. She steps away. The image disappears. She steps back. The image appears. And if she stood in front of that mirror and nothing appeared, she would probably freak out, because she expects the image and what stands before the mirror to appear simultaneously. The lesson says, thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. Uh-oh. The thought appeared, and so did the world. Think about Heidi. Heidi does not have to be in the room. Heidi does not have to call. Heidi does not have to text. Heidi does not have to knock on the door. The thought about Heidi appears, and immediately there is Heidi. Heidi who said this. Heidi who did that. Heidi who should have done something differently. Heidi who might do something tomorrow. The entire world of Heidi appears with the thought. No delay. No Heidi physically present. No evidence required. The thought appeared, and so did the world. The lesson says, the idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. And then it makes another move. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. Which came first? The thought or the seeing? The reason is that the order does not matter. There goes the timeline. The mind wants to know what came first. First this happened, then that happened, then somebody said something, then a thought occurred, then a feeling appeared, then a world showed up. But the lesson says the order does not matter, because cause and effect are never separate. The woman does not need to establish which came first, her standing before the mirror, or the image appearing in the mirror. They are there together. And then the lesson gets colder. Today we are again emphasizing the fact that minds are joined. Minds are joined. And immediately the resistance appears. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea at first, since it seems to carry with it an enormous sense of responsibility and may even be regarded as an invasion of privacy. Invasion of privacy. Privacy means there is something private, something belonging only to one person, something hidden inside, something another person cannot enter. My thoughts, inside my mind. Your thoughts, inside your mind. Private thoughts require private minds. Private minds require boundaries. This mind ends here. That mind begins there. Inside, outside, mine, yours, separate. But the lesson has already said, minds are joined. So where is the boundary? Where does one mind stop and another mind begin? There are no private thoughts. That does not mean somebody across town is sitting there reading every sentence passing through somebody else's head. Go upstream. What would have to be true for a thought to actually be private? There would have to be a private thinker, a separate self, a separate mind, a boundary around that mind, another separate mind outside that boundary, and separation would have to be real. But separation cannot both be unreal and private minds be real. Those two ideas cannot stand together. Truth does not contradict itself. If minds are joined, there cannot ultimately be private minds. If there are no private minds, there cannot ultimately be private thoughts. If God created one sun, there cannot be billions of independently created private selves. If God is all-encompassing, where would the private territory exist? Outside God. Where is outside? The mirror does not have a private version of the woman hidden somewhere behind the glass. The image does not run off and establish a separate existence. What stands before the mirror and what appears in the mirror are not separated by time, cause, effect, together. And look at what happens if private minds are granted as reality. Put 10 people in a room, write one word at the top of 10 sheets of paper. Love. Then leave the room. One writes attraction, one writes loyalty, one writes sacrifice, one writes marriage, one writes protection, one writes sex, one writes never leaving, one writes freedom, one writes safety, one writes being understood. Same word, 10 meanings. Then 2 people look at each other and say, I love you. Same sound, same letters, but what did each one mean? If every mind is actually private, how would either one ever know? One person could say one thing and think another. One person could agree today and disagree tomorrow. New information arrives, a new perception appears, a different thought occurs, and the agreement changes. Then truth would depend on agreement. Truth would need a vote. Truth would need everybody to get together and finally decide what it means. But truth cannot become true because enough private minds agreed. Truth must already be true, before agreement, before disagreement, before interpretation, before the 10 sheets of paper. Look again at love. The phrase, in love, already contains an exit. If someone can be in love, someone can be out of love. If someone can fall into love, someone can fall out. If love can begin, love can end. If love can increase, love can decrease. If somebody can give it, somebody can withhold it. If somebody can make another person feel loved, somebody can make another person feel unloved. How could anyone ever feel safe in that? Something entered can be exited. Something gained can be lost. Something that changes cannot provide changeless security. And then people say, love disappointed me. Love let me down. Love did not live up to my expectations. I trusted love and got hurt. But what actually failed? Love, or the definition written on the sheet, the expectation, the bargain, the condition? the image of what another person was supposed to do. If love is changeless, love cannot become its opposite. If love is what God is, love cannot disappear. If love created God's Son like itself, God's Son cannot step outside love. Where would he go? The lesson says, despite your initial resistance to this idea, you will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all. Must be true. Not might be, not eventually become true. Must be true. And salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. There is the pressure test. If salvation is possible, separation cannot be an accomplished fact. If separation is not an accomplished fact, the private self produced by separation cannot be an accomplished fact. And if the private self is not real, what owns the private thought? Then the lesson gives the practice. As you consider each one, name it in terms of the central person or theme it contains, and holding it in your mind as you do so, say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of this thought about blank. This thought about Heidi. This thought about money. This thought about the body. This thought about death. This thought about love. This thought about tomorrow. This thought about yesterday. The subject changes. The principle does not. The woman moves in front of the mirror. The image appears. Another thought moves into awareness. Another world appears. And the lesson tells you not to arrange the subjects according to importance. Random selection of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. Then comes the line, lack of order in this connection will ultimately make the recognition of lack of order in miracles meaningful to you. No hierarchy, no special thought that gets to escape the principle, no thought that is too small, no thought that is too important, no thought that gets locked in a private room. The thought appears, and so does its effect. The mirror does not save one reflection for later. It does not call one image important and another image meaningless. It reflects what stands before it. Now, the lesson is not asking 8 billion private minds to finally agree. It is questioning the premise that there were ever 8 billion separate minds to begin with. Because truth does not contradict itself. Look at it from thought. Look at it from seeing. Look at it from cause. Look at it from effect. Look at it from love. Look at it from salvation. Look at it from God. Turn the mirror sideways. Turn it upside down. Walk closer. Step farther away. The principle does not fold. Cause and effect are never separate. So if the thought appeared, and so did the world, what came first?